Hey guys, and welcome to another video. So I've got a bit of a special one for you today. What I'd like to do is kind of like give you some insight into buying and selling Lego. So some of you might know, but I actually have a another kind of like sub brand, if you like. So obviously my brand is AFOL Chris, but I also have AFOL Chris Bricks, and AFOL Chris Bricks is where I sell Lego. I mainly sell loose Lego, but I have been known to sell the odd set, but I generally kind of like deal with loose Lego. I have a Facebook page called AFOL Chris Bricks. I also have a brick link called AFOL Chris Bricks. And I have also dabbled on eBay a little bit as well, but I don't tend to use eBay as much for reasons I'm going to talk about shortly. So, buying Lego. So how do you buy Lego? Well, obviously the obvious way to buy Lego is go to the Lego shop. Problem you've got is if you buy sets, usually the price of the set far outweighs the value of the Lego inside, especially if you're looking at like the exclusives, the ideas sets, especially some of the dearer sets as well. But every now and then you can pick up a set on offer. Generally not at the Lego store or Lego online unless you're really lucky, but you can kind of go to places like Asda or Morrison's or Sainsbury's, who all sell Lego, and every now and then they will have an offer on where the piece to price ratio makes it worth buying. So I'll give you an example. Sometime latter end of last year, when all the shops were open, Asda had an offer on, and they were selling the classic 900 piece set, which is a box probably about this sort of height. It had been reduced from £34.99 or £35 down to £18. Now 900 pieces at £18 works out at 2p per piece. So I managed to pick up quite a few boxes of that, and I spent quite a bit of time breaking it up into pieces, and a lot of it I saw on Facebook, on my Facebook page, but a lot of it also went onto Bricklink, and some of it is still on Bricklink. So you've got to kind of look at the price versus piece ratio. I think around about 2 to 3p a piece, roughly speaking, on average. Obviously some pieces are worth a lot more, some pieces are probably only worth half a pence. But if you can average it out at between 2 and 3p per piece, then it's definitely worth buying if you're going to think about the average when you're buying. Now the other way you can buy Lego, I'm sure a lot of you already know this, is to buy Lego from the Pick-a-Brick wall. Now, as many of you will know, you get a Pick-a-Brick cup, and obviously you get the large size or the small size. Now I tend to go for the large size. Again, for the price to piece ratio, this seems to be the better offer. And the trick is really to make sure that you fill every single little nook and cranny in this cup. I've seen people walk away from the Pick-a-Brick wall with gaps that I've thought, cracky, you can get so many pieces in that. So the trick is, at the bottom there's a recess. There's a recess to fill in, get the small pieces in that recess. If you want any big pieces like plates or bricks, stick them together. Like for example, if you wanted 4x4 plates, sandwich them all together and put them bang smack in the middle, and depending on how many you want, you can fill up the cup right to the kind of level of the cup, and then fill it up with smaller pieces around the edge. Now I might be telling you guys something you already know, so I apologise for that, but maybe you've not thought about this, and maybe you're actually getting some use out of this. So you make sure you fill up as many of those little tiny cracks as possible, or crevices as possible. And then of course you've got the lid. Of course there's a little bit of a space in the lid as well. Now again, I've seen a lot of people fill the cup up to the point that it kind of overflows and then try and gradually sort of manoeuvre their cup. I think that's probably a waste of time, to be honest. You can get quite a lot of the small pieces, like 1x1 round plates, or 1x1 square plates, or even some of the other smaller pieces. So for example, I'm just going to grab one from this pile here. So you've got these little 1x1 plates with a little sort of hook over. You can get quite a few in there. Now the trick is, fill that up as level as possible. Get your sheet of paper that comes with it, and if there isn't one, grab one from the guys at the Lego behind the counter Lego shop. Pop that on so it holds it in place, and the trick is carefully, I don't know whether you can see this or not, but imagine it's on the table, carefully put it on and click it into place. and generally you will get more Lego in there at a better price to piece ratio, and again depending on what you get. It's not as black and white as it sounds, to be honest. Obviously some pieces are more valuable than others, and it doesn't depend on the size either, so you can get like I don't know, 2x6 brick, probably only worth about a penny on Bricklink, but you can get something like the corner little tiny corner archways that came in the Harry Potter set, the Hogwarts Harry Potter set. They're worth about 10p each. If they are on your pick a brick wall, then your quid's in, because you can get loads of them, sell them for around about 10p each as an example, and you're making some profit. So that's two ways to buy Lego. Another way, which I've used in the past, is to buy Lego from eBay. And what you're aiming to get, or what you're aiming to look for, is roughly about £10 per kilo, and that's including postage. Don't ever buy anything more than £10 per kilo. I've managed to get or secure orders in the past which have been less than £10 a kilo. Obviously you're going to be more than likely buying used Lego, so there's going to be some effort when it arrives to clean the Lego, sort it out, part it out, link it up, etc. That's in essence free time, but you've got to consider the condition of the bricks as well when you're actually doing this. So when you're buying off eBay, look for things like good condition, you know, check the description, ask questions, make sure that you're not going to get a big box of travelled up, you know, Lego that looks like the dog's had. And also make sure it says genuine Lego. I have actually bought Lego from eBay that says genuine Lego. When I've opened it up, there's been mega blocks in it, there's been stickle bricks, there's been all sorts, but Lego. Not great amounts, but I think what actually happens is you get parents that obviously they've had kids who now want to sell their Lego, and they just chuck it all in a box. 80% of it is Lego. They go, oh, this is Lego, and they sell it as Lego. Make sure you check that it's genuine Lego, and if you're still unsure when you look at the pictures, ask the question. Don't get stung by that, because you will lose profit. So that's kind of like three ways that I purchase Lego. I think out of the three, the most profitable is probably the pick a brick wall, depending on the piece you get, closely followed by getting the sets on offer, especially if you can get them at half price, and you can get the classic big box sets, and then thirdly eBay, partly because it's used Lego. So okay, you've bought Lego, now you want to sell it. How do you sell it? Well, as I mentioned earlier, there are three ways you can sell it, or there are three ways that I sell it. There is Bricklink, there is eBay, and there is Facebook, and they all come with pros and cons. So I'm going to start with my least preferred option, and that's eBay, and I'll tell you why. When you look on eBay and you're looking for either sets or you're looking for loose bricks, you're actually thinking that you're paying over the odds for what they're actually worth, especially if you compare it to like Bricklink and what you can get on Facebook. The problem is that people selling on eBay have to consider postage, whether they include that in the price or not, and PayPal fees and eBay fees. If you're not careful, you can get a price off Bricklink, add whatever you think is necessary, put it on eBay, and you'll either end up out of profit, which obviously you don't want to do, or you'll end up selling it on eBay for a ridiculous, what would appear a ridiculous price. So that would be my least preferred. I wouldn't say don't do it on eBay, I would say be very careful, and I would say choose what you sell on eBay. My second preferred option would be Facebook. Now why would I choose Facebook over Bricklink? Well, first of all, Facebook, there's no fees that Facebook charge you, so unlike eBay that charge you a 10% selling fee. But the problem with Facebook is there's no protection either. There's a little bit of protection through the PayPal payment, and I would always recommend that if you're selling Lego through Facebook, make sure that you use PayPal as the payment. Don't do cash. I mean, it's up to you, you can do, but you get protected. Certainly don't ask people to send postal orders or checks or anything like that. Do it by PayPal. You've got a record of it and you're protected by PayPal's rules. The only flip side of that is there are two ways to pay in PayPal. There's business PayPal and then friends and family. Now friends and family means there are no fees, but obviously from a PayPal perspective you're not doing a business transaction and you don't get the protection that the business transaction provides. If you do a business PayPal, then obviously you get the PayPal fees, but then you get the business protection as well. Up to you guys how you manage it. Me personally, I tend to do friends and family because I tend to deal with people I know on Facebook. Now the third option, and is usually my preferred option, is Bricklink. Bricklink, I don't know whether you've used it or not, is very good for identifying the part, identifying what the going rate is on Bricklink, and also the listing process is absolutely second to none. The only one downside that I would say with Bricklink is that you're not going to get as much profit. You can shift the loose stuff, absolutely no problem with that. But if you compare a part to what's already on Bricklink, because there are a lot of sellers on Bricklink, what you're probably looking at, you might get for, let's say, 2p on Facebook, you might be looking at half pence to a penny on Bricklink. The beauty of Bricklink is you can shift a lot. Now the second probably advantage to using Bricklink, and this is the one that one of the reasons that I use Bricklink more than anything, is that you can add your fees and your charges on later. You can work out postage later, you can work out PayPal fees later, you can work out any other charges later. What the user is buying is the pieces. They're not buying with the expectation of the pieces plus postage or the pieces plus PayPal fees, etc. They're buying and ordering just the pieces. Now obviously doing it on Bricklink means you have to sell it in piece by piece quantities. So you may end up selling one of them. You might think it's not worth your time, but if you sell 100 of them, fantastic. If you sell 1,000 of them, fantastic. But if you sell one of them, you know, and one of them, and one of them, and one of them, etc., etc., it's going to be a little bit of your time putting that all together. I mean, I've got a plastic box with all my Bricklink parts in. All the new stuff is all bagged individually, like separately in bags, but all the loose stuff, I've got like a bag with one thing in, a bag with two things in, a bag with three things, one thing, two things, etc. And when it comes to fulfilling an order, believe you me, I can probably spend a good hour getting all the parts together, weighing it up to get the postage, checking what the PayPal's are going to cost me, the PayPal fees is going to cost me. But ultimately, there's a lot of sellers on Bricklink, and it's also worldwide as well. So you know, your target audience is a lot bigger than it probably would be on Facebook and probably eBay as well. So guys, that's my tips for buying and selling. Believe you me, you can make profit if you buy the right piece and probably buy the right quantity, and you get lucky and you get the offers that you can get in supermarkets, etc. You can make money selling Lego. Believe you me, I've done it. Anyway guys, I hope you've enjoyed watching the video. I hope you've got some tips from this. I know it's me being sat here rambling on for probably, what, 20 minutes or so, but I do feel passionate about this. There's money to be made in this. Leave a comment below, let me know how you buy and sell your Lego. Do you agree with what I've said? Do you disagree? Let me know, I don't mind. If you've liked the video, give it the thumbs up, and obviously please subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon next to that subscribe button to make sure you get notified when I release any videos. Anyway guys, thanks very much. I'm going to get off now. Catch you later.